Hello, welcome to Successful Tradings. In this video, we are going to discuss about the technical analysis of SPY and QQQ, how they have traded so far in the first 5 months of 2022, and what's in store for SPY and QQQ for the month of June. Then we are going to take a look at how I use SPY and QQQ for day trading and swing trading of option, and stay until the end because I'm going to share my personal strategy, very easy and lucrative strategy on this first week of June. Without any further ado, let us go ahead and dive in. Okay, folks, this is the comparison chart here of SPY versus QQQ. So we can see that the way to do that here on TradingView, you just use the comparison button on here, and it's showing since let's say the beginning of the window here, start December. So but I can move it to say SPY has been down about minus 13% so far in 2022. Yeah, today is June 1st 2022, and QQQ has been down minus 23%. Yikes. So let's go ahead and take a look at multiple time frame here to understand where they could be going in June of 2022. All right, so I'm going to start with the daily chart of QQQ. For those who do not know, since May of last year has been 1 full year, I'm going to put the video on my left on here, how for us we have switched from trading SPY heavily to trading QQQ because there are more opportunities. It goes without saying, folks, that coming back here on this daily chart, this is just the month of April alone, folks. We have gone from 370 to today we closed at what, 305, 305.45. That's after hours. Let's say 306. It was a clean 306. But what we want to see, really, we are going to look at this on 3 different time frame, right? Really to get a good understanding. So here was at the beginning of January, QQQ was trading at 400. So we have gone from 400, folks, all the way. Yes, that's right? All the way to now. The bottom was 280 recently. That's a lot. Yeah, that's really a lot. That's the range that we have gone on there. So and in here, the main thing for us to take a look at is you can see how the stock has really struggled. QQQ has struggled to get past these technical levels, which are the EMA. Yellow line is our EMA 8, green line is our EMA 20. You can see that on here on the right hand side in my data window on TradingView. Oh, yeah, folks. So this past week, this past week here, I think it was on Friday the 27th, we closed above the EMA 20, the green line, for the first time since, oh my goodness, since April the 6th. Well, actually, we have come good since the beginning of April the 4th. So we thought, oh, fine, now we are on to a recovery, my friend. Seems as if the bear market is persisting on both SPY and QQQ. Here's the chart of QQQ. We're going to jump very quickly here on SPY as well. But let me change the time frame here. So instead of daily, let's go to the weekly chart to see if it tells us. It's, as traders, that's always a good thing to do, right? So same thing, the EMA, the yellow line is still the EMA 8, the green line is the EMA 20. Look where we have been trading. On the weekly chart, QQQ has not gotten past the yellow line. For a couple of weeks it did, actually, here early March, right? In mid-March more precisely. For 3 weeks on here, we went a little bit bullishly. We thought that was a recovery. Not at all. So right now, it's facing this resistance here on the weekly chart. The yellow line is at 312.84. Yes, we did hit 312.65 yesterday, and actually even today, and to no avail. So this candle on here does not bode well, really, yet, let's say just yet, to have an indication that a bullish reversal is about to take place. Au contraire, we are coming from, prior to last week, we are coming from 7 consecutive weeks, red weeks on here. This is something that as day trader and swing trader, you and I, we can take advantage of. I've shared with the traders in my Discord room how you can actually take advantage of this. So the ATR of QQQ on the weekly chart can set up very nice swing trade where you don't have really to stress about it with the noise that's happening on the daily chart on each and every day. You can set a trade on Monday or Tuesday, expiring on Friday, and with a very high probability to make that trade here just using the ATR technique. That video is available on this channel. Now, before we jump to SPY very quickly, it's going to be the same, but I want to go to the monthly chart here and tell you this, to look at the story. Similar story here. We are in the bearish market, folks, because the stock price, SPY and QQQ, this is QQQ that we're looking at, they have been trading below the moving average for several months now. I mean, here, this March month here is a little bit of an outlier, but since the beginning of 2022, this is what, I mean, December itself wasn't that. I mean, came down and then it recovered a little bit. So folks, on here, it didn't stick last time it tried to test the lower Bollinger, right? So for the monthly here, the monthly is suggesting 280 again to be tested. Should it find buyers and trying to actually overcome the first level of resistance is the previous resistance in the month of May, which just finished yesterday, right? So that resistance level will be the green line, 330 thereabout. So that's how you go about trading based on levels, right? So such that, hey, you're always positioned instead of listening to the noise and everything that goes on for SPY and QQQ. Rather, focusing on the main level that your indicators, and in this case, the EMAs, the moving average, are a very good way to use in your day trading of SPY and QQQ, as well as on your swing trading. So very quickly here, let's jump onto SPY and go through the same thing on here. So even though we do not trade SPY as much. So here's the monthly chart of SPY. Yeah. So the trend line of the exponential moving average 8, the yellow line, it's telling because the price has gone below 8 other than in March on here every single time since the beginning of the year. So, and there's plenty of room left, folks. Imagine SPY here. For me, when I'm looking at this, hey, posting lower lows on this since let's say March here. The low in March was 415, then the next low was 411, then the most recent low in May was 380. Well, for me, the target here, if the bearish trend continues, the lowest value here is the lower Bollinger Band, which stands at 358.59. In case of a recovery, we will say that we have recovered if it can recapture consecutively the green line above 412. First, initially, we are currently at 409. Then the serious test will really be that EMA 8, the yellow line, at 426. Let's call it 427. So this is what the monthly chart of SPY tells us. How about the weekly chart of SPY? The weekly chart of SPY, same, we're trading below the EMA to As a matter of fact, we hit this week, we are hitting that resistance level on there. We couldn't close last week above it, despite last week was, the last 3 days of last week was really, really bullish to go toward the last few days of May, right? So look where we are right now. 414 is that level of resistance on there. So until actually we are able to convincingly close above this yellow line, the EMA 8 on SPY, we still remain bearish. So one single candle, green candle here, does not change the trend so far of what we have seen. So on the daily chart, what does it look like? So for those who trade SPY, options for SPY on the daily, okay, on the daily chart, it tells the last 3 days of story were being, we were able to recapture both EMAs, right? And a nice indication on here was that were we about to get the crossover of the EMA 8 above the EMA 20, which would have been really encouraging for the bulls. So let's see on here the next 2 days if we are able to negate that. It could be a little bit of a sideways tomorrow, but really by Friday, we ought to be able to do something. So the two levels that I could be looking at for SPY on here, definitely above, let's say, this previous high here, which is 415. So between 415 and 420. And this is a trade that you can set up tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? You will have 2 days to expiration. Or should it fall below, folks, the middle on here is 402. So 400. So 400 put and 415, 418 calls. That's a nice trade that you can set up on SPY as a swing trade. So for QQQ, let's go and pick the similar levels on here. What's what we could be using on here. This is the daily chart. So we know this much. I will be remiss if I didn't show you the ATR for QQQ. I'd like to go to this one to do that for whatever reason. So I go here to my settings, and instead of moving average on here, so instead of my moving average, my indicators on here, I'm going to just bring average true range. So it's here, and I use the 14. There's an article on Successful Trading blog of the difference between, let's say, if you're using 7 days, ATR, 50 days, but look, folks, in 2022, look how the ATR for QQQ has, I mean, it was ramping really starting November, December, right? It used to be in the 4, meaning between the low and the high, $4 in average per day. Recently, we have been so volatile. We have been in the 9 and sometimes 10s here. There was a small dip here, right? Let's say, what was this year? Mid-March, while it was going up a little bit, all the way to, let's say, beginning of May. But I mean, look at the size of the candle tells you the story. So with that in mind, we have 2 days to expiration. So here's the trade. Grab that you stuck until the end of the video. So if we use an ATR of 7, for instance, so $15 is literally what you could have. From 305, we can take the 290. So with our traders today, I think the recommendation into the Discord was to use 292, 293 puts for QQQ going into Friday, June 3rd expiration. Those are very cheap, folks. I can give you let me give you the current price on here live as I'm doing this. So the 293 puts for QQQ expiring on June the 3rd, if you want to swing trade this, are going to be costing you, and they could even be cheaper tomorrow if we do not gap, right? So because of theta decay. So the 293 puts, they were going for 22 cents, folks. This is very affordable. You know how we do it on here. Strictly relying on the technical analysis of the charts to allow you to get into a very, very comfortable and high probability trade. On the upside, because hey, this thing can just burst through this resistance 310, you can see here on the daily charts, right? So on the upside, same thing. So for us on 305, if we add about $15 on there, it gets us to about the 319, the 320 calls expiring on June the June the 3rd. So those actually are much more cheaper. Yeah, we have noticed recently that there is actually the puts versus call pricing over the last, I mean, as much as the last 2 or 3 months, since we have been in this bearish market for SPY and QQQ, the calls are much more cheaper. So for us, we don't mind at all because we have had more red days, obviously, as you can see, right, than green day. But when you have those green days, those calls can really, really pay well. So the 320 calls as of now, they're standing at 9 cents, 10 cents, 11 cents. I think tomorrow, I reckon we could be getting them for 7 cents thereabouts. So if you are interested in learning how to day trade and swing trade QQQ and SPY options, I mean, for me, my personal preference, for a reason that you already know, it's to trade QQQ just as much as I breathe. I invite you to join our Discord, and for option trading beginners, this is something that I can teach you one-on-one through Zoom. I have a full course and more to come in the near future. Until then, have a great day, have a great evening, wherever you're watching from. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.